let's talk about Whoosh. So you'll want to plan for this activity to be done somewhere outdoors because it does involve shooting water guns. However, we'll begin by reading the story about the inventor of the Super Soaker. So we're going to learn all about his life, his persistence in inventing different things. And the students are then going to perform an activity in order to kind of celebrate one of his greatest known inventions, which is the Super Soaker. Now, these aren't necessarily super soakers, but they are fairly powerful. So what we'll have students do is we will mark somewhere on the sidewalk, we'll mark a starting line, and we will open up the measuring tapes and tape them end to end. There should be 6 of them, and each one is 5 feet. So we're measuring a total of 30 feet, 30 possible feet for the water gun to be shot. Now, for kindergarten and first grade, they should only measure in non-standard units. So when a student shoots the water gun, you're going to want to ask them to give some ideas on how it could be measured. Students might say that they could measure in lengths of kids, so they could lay down on the sidewalk, head to heel, and figure out how far the water gun shot. Or they could do foot lengths, so they could do heel to toe to figure out how far the water gun shot. Now, you might have to place a few students toward the end of the measuring tapes with a piece of chalk so that they can see when someone shoots the water gun, see where those drops land and mark it. Now, for the older students, they will actually be reading the distance with the measuring tapes, but they're going to have to figure out either add all of the inches together or know that each measuring tape is 5 feet. So they can skip count by 5s to figure out the number of feet and then add on the extra amount of inches. So there is some calculation that might need to happen there. But one thing that you may talk to students about is, what happens if our mark is right here in between 5 and 6? How can we be precise in the way that we record that measurement? So we can encourage students to think about fractions and fractional parts as they're measuring. So students can use the tick marks on here to recognize, well, it's actually 5.5 inches, or it's 5 3/4 inches. So students can be precise about the way that they measure the distances. And we can give students an opportunity to compare the different amounts. They can figure out, how much farther was the longest shot from the shortest shot, and just kind of debrief about the data that they've collected.